This section will cover self-disassembly process of the CK1100G Kobelco crane. For an easier disassembly process, place the machine on firm level ground. Place the block and ball on the ground and lower the boom. When you get to the low boom angle, the machine will automatically stop. Press the icon showing the boom with the arrow pointing down, then lower the boom to the ground. It will be necessary to change the LMI setting into the setup mode. This is done by pushing the icon on the LMI showing the boom being taken apart and hold it for 3 seconds. Remove the cable and wedge sockets from the block and ball. Remove the anti-2 block weights from the cables and limit switches. Wind up the anti-2 block cable on the reel at the boom base section. Then, slowly wind hoist cable while keeping the wire rope tight on the front drum. Secure the hoist cables to the drum so the cable does not become loose. Next, reeve up the rear drum, again while keeping the wire rope tight on the drum, and secure the hoist cable to the drum so the cable does not become loose. Now lower the boom to the ground. Next, we'll remove the auxiliary sheave from the boom tip. Lower the boom to the ground and remove the bottom connecting pin. Then lower the auxiliary sheave by backing the machine while lowering the boom. Remove the top connecting pin. Back the machine away from the auxiliary sheave. Now lower the boom to the ground. Raise the spreader guides on the boom base up to the working position. Lower the boom hoist wire rope to set the spreader into the spreader bracket and secure it with the pins. Tighten the boom hoist wire rope to remove the load from the bottom pins on the boom base section. Then remove the bottom connecting pins first. Both ends of these pins are tapered, so the pins can be removed while standing safely outside of the boom. Stand clear when removing any boom connecting pins because it's possible for the boom to suddenly shift as they're being removed. Lower the boom down onto wooden blocking. Remove the top boom connecting pins and disconnect the guy cables at the spreader. We're now able to back the crane away from the boom. At this point, we'll remove the counterweight assembly. Back the machine over plywood-type material on firm level ground. In the cab, turn the ignition switch to the off position and connect the counterweight control box to the receptacle located on the right-hand side of the machine. Using the control box, turn the engine on and use the toggle switch to raise the RPM. Raise the cylinders to take the weight off the mounting pins and remove the retaining pins. Using the extension bars, retract the mounting pins. Replace the retaining pins and replace the extension bar back into the mounting position located on the counterweight tray. Activate both left and right hand control switches to the down position and make adjustments as needed to keep the counterweight assembly level as it's being lowered. Stand clear of the counterweight assembly during this lowering procedure. After the counterweight assembly is completely lowered, use the control box to retract the lifting cylinders completely. Unpin the connecting links from the lifting links on the counterweight tray and slide connecting links up and repin. Using the control box, turn off the engine. Disconnect the counterweight control box. Now slowly drive the machine forward away from the counterweight assembly. We will now demonstrate using the crane for self-disassembly. Use the lugs on the boom base to position the point section for installation. Travel machine to the point and align the base to the tip section. Install top connecting pins to the boom and guy cable pins to the spreader. Now raise the boom hoist and install the lower double taper boom connecting pins. Lower the boom hoist to remove tension from the lower spreader connecting pins. Then remove the pins. Raise the spreader off of the boom base bracket. Install the pins back into the lower spreader pin locations and secure them with the spring clips. Lower the spreader guides to the down position. Raise the boom as needed to reeve the main load block. Run the cable from the front drum out through the tip section and down to the point sheaves. The reeving diagrams are shown in the operation and maintenance manual. For this demonstration, we will reeve this machine with 2-part line on the main load block. Now install the anti-2 block weight on the hoist cable. Install the hoist cable into the wedge socket and pin it to the pin location on the boom tip. Follow the instructions on the decal mounted at the boom tip. Connect the anti-2 block cable to the main block limit switch. Pull the anti-2 block limit switches at the boom tip by hand and confirm that the anti-2 block error code on the LMI is eliminated. We're now able to raise the boom up to the working position. We should now set the LMI to our present crane configuration. Set up the LMI by first pressing the menu icon while the main screen is displayed. On the menu screen, select the setting with the up-down arrow icon. The crane attachment screen appears. Next, press the 1, 2, 3 icon located on the bottom of the screen. Select the self-removal mode icon. The operation selection screen is displayed. Select the car body weight removal mode. The number parts of line screen will appear. Next, touch the 0 icon. Using the keypad, enter the 2 parts of line and press the OK icon. The screen appears showing the selected items. If these are verified, press the OK icon. The main screen will appear. The settings are displayed on the left part of the screen. It's important that you check all your settings before continuing. The crane is now ready for operation. Now lift the car body weights from the machine base and use the boom hoist to lower it to the ground. We will now make the main machine ready for transport. Lower the boom and place the block on the ground again. Set LMI into setup mode. Push the icon on the LMI that has the picture of the crane with the boom apart and hold it for 3 seconds. Disconnect the wedge socket and roll cable onto the drum. Secure cable at base section or on drum. Disconnect the anti-2 block cable and roll up onto the reel at the boom base. Connect the bypass plug to cable end at the anti-2 block reel. Lower the boom tip to the ground. Raise the spreader guides up to the working position. Then lower the spreader down to the boom base bracket. Secure the spreader to the bracket with mounting pins. Raise the boom hoist to remove the load from the lower pins. Then remove the lower boom connecting pins. We are now able to lower the boom tip section to the ground. Disconnect the guide cables and remove top boom connecting pins. Then back the crane away from the boom point section. We will now retract the crawler frames. Remove the track frame shims from each axle extension and place the shims back onto the extensions for storage. It may be required to swing the machine to shift the weight off of the shims. Remove the track frame locking pins. Activate the retracting control lever inside the cab. Reinstall lock pins into mounts on the track frames on all 4 axles. Remove the locking blocks from the axles and place them on the side frame holders. Next, we'll need to swing the axle extensions into the transportation position and secure with pins. Make sure to engage the swing house lock and all mechanical drum locks. We will now lower the gantry from the working position down to the transport position. Operate the gantry control switch inside the cab to remove load from tension member pins. Remove gantry tension member pins and place them onto the holding brackets. Now lower the gantry by activating the control switch in the cab and lowering the boom hoist wire rope at the same time. Be careful not to allow too much slack in the wire rope or it could become loose on the drum. Pin tension member to the main frame to secure gantry for transport. Fold all handrails, remove the ladder, and fold up all the catwalks. When loading the machine on the truck, please remember that you must first raise the gantry before raising the boom base. Once the crane is in place on the truck, lower the boom first, then lower the gantry. The machine is now ready for transport.